Hey y'all, this is Jesse Williams with the Southern Backwoods Oracle coming to you for that weekly card reading. This week I'm going to change things up a little bit. We're going to actually use a tarot cloth today, and I'm doing a little bit more of an in-depth reading. For more information on the specific tarot cloth that my friend gifted me, check out the upcoming video that I'll probably be posting later on this week. Let's get to it! I'm going to go ahead and lay the cards out, and as I do, I'm going to name the position that they're going to be representing. So the first card represents the now. It is us right now in that moment. Second card will represent what we know about what's going on. Third card will represent the problem. Fourth card will represent the past. Fifth card will represent the underlying problem. It's what's really going on under the surface. Sixth card will represent where our head's at with this. It's also our hopes and fears. Seventh card will represent external energy or other people. Eighth card will represent what we're ignoring, what we're not wanting to acknowledge. Ninth card will represent our action. 10th card will represent the future. 11th card will represent our life lesson that we're learning at this point. And the 12th card is just going to be a general advice card. So let's see what's going on here. First card that I pulled is the Lost Meadow. Now this represents us in the now. We finally made it to that meadow. We got out of the woods. We have a break. We found a clearing, which gives us a little relief. It gives us some peace. Second card is Alone reversed. And the position is what we know about the situation. So Alone reversed is pretty obvious. We're not getting alone time. Third card is the problem as we see it. Now the problem is the trail. The trail card represents routine, kind of doing the same thing every day. It's the pattern that we get into. But we've labeled this as a problem. Now, it's either we're having problem with sticking to routine or we're just getting kind of bored with the monotony of our routine. So the next card is the past. In the past, it is the trap reversed. Now, the trap reversed, this means that we thought we were tricked, but we weren't. And so in the past, we had this idea that we were being tricked, but we weren't really being tricked. And yet somehow that fear is still coming into the now. Yeah, we're in the meadow, we're having a little bit of peace, but there's also a little bit of fear that's coming up of when's the next sword gonna fall? It's not a well-grounded fear. Next card represents what's going on under the surface. What is really the problem here? We're pinning everything on it being our routine. It's not routine. It is the Fey Folk, the fairy card. And the fairy card represents this mischievous energy. It's an energy of excitement. It's an energy of curiosity. And so, with this being what's really going on under the surface, I think of this as we're getting a little restless. We're getting restless. We're wanting some excitement. We're wanting to kind of like play around with stuff and explore stuff and dig into stuff. And yeah, that's making our routine seem really boring right now. Problem here is not the routine, it's the fact that we're getting really antsy. So the next card represents where's our head at? What's our hopes and fears around this? And it is the Hints of Spring card, but it's reversed. And so what that means is where is our head at? We're just constantly expecting, we're constantly waiting for the flowers and the plants in our life to bud out. And yet it's not happening. Think of like the very beginnings of spring when we start seeing stuff kind of pop up. You're forever waiting on that. We keep waiting on things to pop up, but it's not really happening. So the next card represents other people or external energies, and it is the Witch's Cave in the Woods reversed. So the Witch's Cave represents this place that magic can happen. There is a risk in going into the cave to begin with it being reversed and being in the spot of external energy, I'm interpreting this as other people are not exactly helping us set up our environment in a way that is conducive with us being able to bring magic into our lives. Connection is not being able to be made because of the energy that's kind of around us right now. And we're getting sucked into that. So the next card represents what we don't know, what we're not acknowledging, or what we're trying to avoid. And what is it? It's the Bewildering Woods card. Now, this card represents a place that has high potential of getting lost. And we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to ignore that. We're trying to pretend like that's not what's going on right now. In reality, it is. The next card is our action card. And it is the connection or the oneness card. That being our action card, it's calling us to connect. It's calling us to connect to our people around us. It's calling us to connect to our job, to our house, to our family. It's calling us to connect to nature. It's calling us to connect to the divine, whatever that is for us. So the future, what does the future potentially hold? It is the parting card or the leaving. It's the separation card and it's reverse. If we do not try to get this connection going, if we don't connect into the divine, into nature, we're just going to be stuck on further routine and we're going to forever be not getting alone time. We have to carve out that alone time. I'm looking at this future card as a warning to us saying like, hey, if you don't change something up, you're just going to forever be wondering, when do I get my alone time? So the next card is the life lesson card, and it's the hints of winter card. The hints of winter card represents that time period where we kind of feel like we're shifting from fall into winter. It's also a time where we start moving into a more reflective place. And so with that being in our life lesson slot, I think of that as we're learning how to be more reflective. We're needing that alone time. We need that time to reflect, to stop, to grow, to connect. But you have to have that alone time in order to do that. And then lastly, the advice card. The advice card is the bottle. The bottle represents kind of this excitement of finding something that was forgotten, something that kind of just shows up randomly in our lives. There's almost a synchronistic feel to that card itself. We need to be on the lookout for these little synchronicities this week. We're wanting to move towards connection. Best way to move towards connection is look for the synchronicities. Look for the connection points this week for yourself. So what's the summary for the spread? Here we go. We've been in a place where we're feeling like we're finally at peace, where we finally got a little bit of a break, but we're needing alone time. And that alone time is not happening. And we're blaming it on routine. We're blaming it on tricks from the past. But in reality, the problem is that we're just getting a little antsy. We're getting some antsy energy inside of ourselves. What do we need to do with that? We need to connect. Connect in alone time, connect to the divine, to connect to nature. We need to take time to connect to the friends and our family around us. Look for those synchronicities this week. Look for those little things that pop up that create connection. And remember that the life lesson that you're working on right now is one of learning how to dedicate reflection time for yourself, alone time for yourself. So, y'all digest that, and I'll see y'all next week.